Hello, VOD audience. Because I started this stream too late for people who have actually gotten here by the time I started talking. We don't really know what we're doing tonight. It's me and Arget, and we're both tired and kind of brain dead. So we're going to figure it out. I am going to set up the live on the Toka account. And in the meantime, we can wait and see if anybody rolls in and see if anybody in the audience has opinions on what we ought to do tonight. All right, I am now also live on TikTok on the Toga account. But yeah, we were talking about doing either working on the Toka brand package, which is sort of like it would be similar to what I've been doing on a couple of recent lives, where I like work on an infographic and we like talk through what should be in the infographic. Or we can read the TikTok news alerts on Google. Arya, do you have any thoughts?
Still no thoughts. I'm sorry. I was trying to click through and make sure I had everything else set up because I am not on top of anything today. Nothing whatsoever. And I had to put one of my cats in their crate. That's how on top of things I am. It has been a very long day. I would love to say let's poll the audience, but I know that I don't think we have a lot of people here yet because both are equally interesting to me.
Yeah. Sorry, got a distracting DM.
You're good. I'm in that same.
Tonight's going to be a rough stream. Folks in chat, do you have any thoughts? I can see that we've got 3 people watching. I don't know whether any of them are watching attentively enough to be able to engage with chat.
But plus, I know one of them is me. So, here we go.
Hey, Panic Hal, I mean, it's always nice to hear the news from y'all, but I don't mind either way. That is good enough for me.
That's good enough for me, too.
We just need to make a decision, and Arget and I are both not there today. All right, so here is the TikTok news alerts for Google, or for the Google news alerts for TikTok. Netflix, China-based TikTok, to join Google, Apple, and other companies cutting ties with Russia. Weird choice to just add China-based TikTok to the title of that.
You'll never forget your roots, right? Even though that's not true, because TikTok bought, or ByteDance bought Musically from the States.
And also, the TikTok company that runs American TikTok is in America and based in America.
Yeah.
TikTok. We should read about this because this is a thing that happened.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
TikTok temporarily bans new video creation in Russia in response to Russia's fake news law. TikTok is suspending new video upload. Let's see, this is from yesterday. TikTok is suspending new video uploads and live streams on its app in Russia, citing the country's newly passed, quote, fake news law as the reason for the change. In light of Russia's new fake news law, we have no choice but to suspend live streaming and new content to our video service while we review the safety implications of this law, TikTok writes on Twitter. Our in-app messaging service will not be affected. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed off on the fake news law last week. It punishes people with fines of up to 15 years behind bars for spreading false information about Russia's military or for publicly calling for sanctions on Russia. As Russia continues its invasion of Ukraine, it has begun to crack down on social platforms and foreign media. Russia has put a block on Facebook, restricted access to Twitter, and has barred access to BBC news sites. Last week, Russia's communications agency Roskomnadzor called out TikTok for removing state-backed content from its platform. TikTok later announced plans to add labels to, quote, some state-controlled media, and has reportedly been making it harder for users to access Russian state media, in line with moves from Facebook, YouTube, and many others. We will continue to evaluate the evolving circumstances in Russia to determine when we might fully resume services with safety as our top priority, TikTok notes. So yeah, I had not heard about the fake news law. That is a part of the story that I missed. That is,
and it's one of those things too that apparently, like, they're calling it a fake news law, but it's more of a we want to control the news law, so it's not quite.
Yeah, it's an illegal concepts law.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very like similar in nature to the like anti-CRT laws that a lot of state governments are pushing in America right now.
Exactly. It's all in the same vein. If you ask me, and it's like on the one part, I want to feel like I understand it, but the rest of it too, though, is just seeing how I saw a completely unrelated article about how they're encouraging people to leave reviews on like public cafes and things like that on like Google Maps to try to communicate back and forth between people who are over in that area. And it's like you can't block all of it. You cannot block the entire internet. So it'll be really interesting to see how all that plays out. I could wonder about all of that for hours on end, though, so I will stop myself.
Yeah, and like part of the point is that like the point of restricting information movement is not to eliminate that information; it's to dampen it. And every act like this does dampen the spread of the relevant information. And different totalitarian governments have different tactics for doing that. Russia takes a very similar approach to China here. Yeah, let's move on. Because this is not a geopolitics stream. It is a TikTok stream. And we don't need to get into my feelings about various governments and information. All right,
and unfortunately, a lot of it seems to just be about that same issue. And
every story from today is about that. Tech this week: TikTok probe into kids' mental health, and Twitter unveils new fact check something. How to make the TikTok For You page better. TikTok is gripped by the violence and misinformation of the Ukraine war. TikTok sensation Mimi Webb shares a few of her favorite things with Vogue. It's just about a TikToker going viral. Let's check this one out. Investigation on TikTok's mental health impact. Hey, Michael. Excuse me. Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro has joined other attorneys general by launching an investigation into the social media app TikTok and its association with mental health. A bipartisan group of state attorneys of at least 8 states has taken the lead on an investigation into TikTok. The investigation is looking to see if the social media app has violated state consumer protection laws by not doing enough to keep young children using the app protected from a potentially harmful impact on their mental health and physical health. I can't read today.
That's okay.
Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro has since joined the coalition. Some people in Stroudsburg tell us they support the investigation. Kids should strive to be successful at school and be good people and have strong, meaningful friendships, but they want you to do silly dances and kind of like embrace a materialistic lifestyle," said Daniel Burden. This is this is not. I think we've finished the article.
Yeah,
The rest of this is local interest.
especially because it's just kind of like, and this may feel out of left field, but I loathe articles like this because yes, there is a certain amount of responsibility on each company for ensuring like safety and well-being as much as possible. But where this is going, this is fully crossed over into TikTok is not your damn parent. And parents need to be monitoring what their children are doing online better and teaching them how to process this kind of stuff, which I, just from decades of experience at this point, I know that they do not do. They
Yeah,
do not
is
talk to their
there,
kids about this stuff.
to what extent is there a good existing toolkit for parents to learn how to do that?
I don't remember the links anymore. It has been a long time since I've looked at it. I know that there are a couple of them. YouTube specifically was one of the pioneers for being a platform that created a toolkit explicitly for parents to be educated on what this is, assuming that there's folks of an older generation who still did not know what YouTube is, were, you know, having children of that age starting to get into YouTube, as well as trying to express it, internet safety, both in the videos and the comments, and then regarding videos specifically, how to consume the videos, as well as considering the ramifications of allowing your children to post said videos, and then also just like general content about like how to use the website. And by the way, like we do our best to keep the bullshit off, but your children will most definitely be exposed to something you don't want them to see. Don't know what they're going to see, but there's definitely going to be something because the internet is too vast, you know, or our website and from YouTube,
Right.
which that was actually also really revolutionary for a company to do that at all at the time that they were starting to do that too. Because at that point it was just like, are you on Neopets where you get canned messages and like, you know, nothing can be really be foul, because they reviewed like everything and just like did not allow people to express themselves? Or are you ready for the whole of the internet, in which everybody knows is just awful, like, but wonderful and awful all at the same time.
Right. And TikTok has resources like that as well. That strikes me as an example of TikTok taking, like, being responsible. Like, that's not, TikTok is not your parent. It's TikTok's job to teach parents how to interface with their kids using TikTok.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of those things too, which again, not to potentially veer off into like more political type content too, but it's, a lot of people forget that the internet is not America or whichever country you happen to be residing in at the time. Therefore, your local laws and such do not apply to what is happening to you or the majority of what the website is doing that you are consuming. Because of things like that, each website is just a little bit different for like how they try to put that information out there, as well as like how they aggregate through that. And then in TikTok's case, use robots to try to manage everything. But it's just like the robots are not humans, and they don't understand what they're doing. This is one of those things too, again, where I have a hard time staying focused. Because there's too many subjects to talk about this kind of stuff. But like, again, ultimately coming back to the main point is, I like the idea of this article. TikTok can only do so much, like unless they do something like starting to limit comments. I can't imagine what this app would be if you couldn't actually comment. Even though I wish it had better moderation and everything.
I mean, like, I can think off the top of my head of a few things that I would love TikTok to do that would definitely help with there being kids on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the big ones is switching from no adult content to an adult content toggle.
Yep.
And part of this would be centralizing their organization for whether they know that you're 18.
Yeah.
because right now every department of TikTok independently has to verify that you're 18 when they need to confirm that, which is why people have been like kicked out of the creator fund for not being 18, or like banned from live
Yeah.
after for not being 18 after proving that they're 18 to get into the creator fund, stuff like that. But if kids lie, though, I am suggesting marginally more verification than what's your birthday.
Yes.
And like the answer is kids will lie. That's gonna
Yes.
happen. But like there's nothing we can do about a completely unsupervised child. And there is a limit to how much we can realistically do to a child who for a child who's motivated to circumvent the efforts to constrain their experience in the app. Like no child is unable to find porn on the internet.
Yes. Rule 34.
But if the kid sets up their account with their parent, which is something TikTok could strongly advise that parents do, then the parent can be present for the putting in your birthday thing.
Correct.
And know whether the child is trying to lie and claim that they are 18.
That is, of course, if the child doesn't just go rogue and do it all on their own anyway. Because that's the hard part here. Like that's the hard part is ensuring the physical person starting the whole adventure of getting signed up for an account anywhere is doing the right thing right away. And that's so hard.
Yeah, I mean, like you could, you could make the age editable on an account that is starting as 18 plus, but not on an account that is not 18 yet.
Yes.
You could have parent lock tools that say like you can activate this feature that puts a PIN number to change details like age.
Yes.
And like nothing is ever going to be foolproof. None of these are ever going to prevent all possible abuse. There are a lot of things that could do a lot more. And then we could have an 18 plus toggle and TikTok could stop banning adults talking about their own lives for child endangerment.
I wonder again, thinking
as
about
does seem
YouTube,
to be
if
the
they
case,
would.
banning adults for
Yes.
brushing their hair for depicting grooming behaviors.
Oh, God. I cannot help but laugh at that stuff, especially because, like, again, this exact same conversation I have had this so many times before. Because it gets so hard because if the physical person is lying about whatever it is, and like even with all these safeguards in place, it still means that the adults of the household ultimately are still responsible for ensuring that whomever is using the internet that they're paying for is doing the right and correct and responsible thing. So like that gets into that whole anyway. I also, doesn't YouTube do that thing with like the YouTube kids, where the YouTube kids, they don't have their own email address. It is their parents who sign up for their own account, and then they can create a YouTube kids account for their child. And it's akin to like the Netflix setting, that if you create a second profile, like for your kids, you can put that rating on it so that any material marked with like X rating or whatever is prevented or is filtered out of their specific Netflix profile.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that would be really cool on TikTok.
Yeah. But like ultimately, the only case in which it's ever going to work is cases in which the children are acting in collaboration with their parents to follow rules, which is a thing children can do and a thing children can be motivated to do. And it's definitely not impossible that a child could want their app experience to not have things that are meant for adults, that would make them uncomfortable or make them feel unsafe, and that are spaces where they know they are not wanted. Like it's not like those kids don't exist.
Yes.
Worrying only
I would
about
have
the
been one of
kids
those
whose
kids.
motive is to break the system is going to lead you down. It's a fatalistic conversation because there's nothing you can do to make a website, like to make a service impossible to use in bad faith.
Mm-hmm. That's one of those things about terms of services and or not privacy policies, but terms of services and all of that too, that gets a little bit tricky because some of the times when they word things the way that they do, it is for this type of situation.
Yeah, Michael, and this is another thing is that like TikTok is not solely in control
Yes.
of the uh, temperament of the content that goes up on the app. Like the crackdown on sex work on the app has a lot more to do with legislation in the Apple Store than it does with TikTok's internal company politics.
I'm sorry, I had to take a second with that one too, because that's a difficult thing too, is that in the cases of something like LGBT, there is a societal shift of morals in process right now, where
Mm-hmm.
some people are understanding that discussing gender and sexuality isn't inherently sexual, isn't inherently predatory, isn't inherently not safe for work.
Right.
Like there's ways to have these conversations
And if we want
to
to talk about
inform
like
the person.
assuming the hypothetical scenario where TikTok does the best possible job of setting up the
Mhm.
moderating system for a system like this, what we would want to see
Mhm.
is something where like the users of the account on the accounts have control on both an account level and a video by video level, whether this
Yep.
content is appropriate for minors, like you have on YouTube. And the moderation
Exactly.
standards would be different for content for minors and content for adults. So like if like things get um, like maybe thirst traps would be not okay for minors, but
Yeah.
like straight up ads for your OnlyFans would not
Yeah.
be banned for adults. Um, but also, um, a video that talks about LGBT issues that is specifically like directed at children, best case
Mhm.
scenario, the TikTok moderating staff could have guidelines on like this is how to tell educational content about things that are often understood to be adult issues from depictions of adult content.
Yeah.
Like that's not that's very much not an unsolvable problem.
Yeah. Mostly because again, is the company going to go with like the conservative Christian, no offense, values, or will they be more like, like that's hard to tell too, because again, ultimately, a whole company as itself can still do that kind of stuff, and it's okay.
Mhm.
So that, sorry, I could go on about that for so much. It's so difficult,
Yeah, I mean, like
and
TikTok's
the person.
attitude is pretty much like trying as much as possible to approximate
Mhm.
the absence of values, and that does lean more liberal than conservative.
And it's the hard thing with that kind of stuff too, is because they do rely so heavily on automated moderating, because of reasons.
Mhm.
Um, a bot will never be able to make that distinction.
Right.
So it's always going to be pass or fail. Uh,
I mean, unless they rely less on automated moderation, and unless, for example, unless they are telling the truth about about their
yeah,
claim that any auto moderated encounter always goes to review with a human, and like it's not entirely impossible that we could be seeing some of the results we see uh, with a human intervention phase. Like if there's not a moderator that flags a video and there's a human who doesn't give a fuck about their job and they just hit okay on like every
mhm.
auto mod flag for a straight half an hour because they're tired and bored, that will produce the 30-second appeal denial result that we
Yes.
often claim, or we often talk about as like a firm proof that there is no human involved. And like realistically, there is no human involved there, but like procedurally, there is.
Yes. God, I just still want to I want to talk to them so much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's ever going to happen, but like, oh man. Anyway.
All right.
No, I'm
TikTok
sorry. I
gives
saw one of
brands
those
advice on
headlines
improving their
talking about a
content.
viral video, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk about any viral videos on this app right now.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
not what we're
so
doing.
fatigued.
TikTok gives brands advice on improving their content on the platform. We read that article on stream last week. The article from the TikTok marketing blog about it. K Panic Hell just commented, sometimes I honestly forget, followed shortly by, wow, I did not mean to type here and press enter on that message, lol. So,
That's okay.
no idea what you forgot. Hope you remember.
It was like earlier today, I was trying to use the voice thing to send a message to somebody, and then one of my cats decided to be a royal pain in the butt right there. So my friend accidentally got some colorful language because my brain did not put together that me taking a pause for my messaging to yell at the cat would also show up in my dictation. Okay, I'm sorry. It's total fluff, but can we please see what the 10 best TikTok songs of all time are from the Mary Sue? I think that's the one like fluff piece that I need in my life.
Go Down on You by The Memories.
Okay.
Don't think I know that song. Looking Out for You by Joy Again. Don't think I know that song either.
I feel like I don't know that one either.
Buttercup by Jack Stover. I think I do know this
Yep.
one.
Yeah, that one is super old school.
Cha Cha, Freddie Dredd.
Yep.
No idea. Get Into It, Doja Cat.
Get into it, yeah. I don't follow Doja Cat, but she has been all over my FYP recently too, and I'm like, okay, I will take this over the drama.
Baby My Phone, Yummy.
Do you mind hitting play on that one for just a second too? Because that was the one that they used for the.
I mean, I could hit play
thumbnail.
if you want, but I don't have audio sharing on.
Oh, that's okay. I'll have to look it up later.
Also, we're on Twitch, and playing proprietary music could get our whole account shut down.
Oh, that's true. Yep, let's not do that.
Tame Impala, The Less I Know, The Better.
I feel like I know that one too, but
I have heard the name Tame Impala before.
Yeah.
Danger by Mystical. Having the Foggiest Notion.
Yeah.
Thought Shit, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Pope is a Rock Star, Sail.
Go Little Rocks. Oh, my heart was crushed when I found out that what that lyrics actually were, but then I was like revived again when the composer was like, I could have done it that way, and I'm actually a little mad I didn't. So those are now the lyrics. I was like, oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly, I'm sure that I would recognize almost all of them if I listened to them, particularly whatever 15-second chunk was viral.
Yes.
I don't learn a lot of the names of the songs or musicians in viral TikTok songs.
Right? Like, show me the dance, and I probably know the music too. Oh, I read about that one, or I saw, I guess, the TikTok helps an Iowa woman fulfill a delicious bucket list request. That was a really nice story too. In the middle of all of this, some person who makes, I can't remember if it was beignets. TikTok funded a dude who does a food truck beignets in New Orleans to go all the way up into Iowa and make a dying woman's wish come true and get her authentic New Orleans beignets.
Did you see that TikTok about how the phrase bucket list literally comes from the movie The Bucket List?
No.
Yeah, like
I could have sworn that existed before.
this. I mean, the girl who made the TikTok was saying, like, I also would have sworn it existed before, but like, I have been hunting and other people have been hunting, and no one can find a reference to it before 2007.
I mean, before 2007, you pretty much have to Indiana Jones it and go find paper.
Yeah, I mean,
So that makes it exceptionally more difficult, but that's
there is
interesting.
Google Ngrams.
Hmm.
Like, there is Google's giant library where they scanned every book they could get their hands on until they got sued about it, and then plotted all of the words by date and frequency.
I
Um,
love that so much,
in
though.
fact,
Reddit's mobile update is horrible. I agree.
let's see. All right, it appears it does occur a little bit in the late 80s, early 90s,
Hmm.
um, and rises in frequency uh,
Hmm.
until peaking in like 2015. This would be when the movie came out. Uh,
Yeah.
and let's see, what other phrase would be a good like comparative to see like how 'cause it's hard to really parse engrams.
Uh,
Um,
what was.
thank you, Michael. But yeah, like OMG has always been significantly more popular than Bucket List. Um, and actually, under our faces, there's a little bit where in the very beginning of the 18th century, it was hugely popular. And it kind of died down.
If you put a Z in front of it, I bet it'll change and like align a little bit more.
That makes sense.
This is the tiniest little blip. Bucket list is one word.
WTF was a very popular acronym in 1961 or in 1861.
I want to know what happened. What specifically happened in 1861 that got that much of a. All right.
Anyone who's encountered WTF in the wild knows that its primary meaning is what the fuck, but the W can also stand for other various question words. When I started trawling through early examples of the in the archive of Usenet news groups, I was surprised to discover that this inherent ambiguity has been present in WTF all along, since its first popularization in the mid to late 1980s. Here's the earliest example. Examples I've found. Why the fuck? Um, where the fuck? Whatever the fuck? Who the fuck? Let's see, does this? Okay, yeah, this just assumes that it started in the 1980s. Uh,
Maybe etymology.
I think this is going to be more work to Google than it's worth.
Yeah.
Um, I assume that what it meant in the 1860s is what the fuck.
Mm-hmm. All right. So some serious shit went down in the.
Oh wow, I didn't know beige was such a recent word.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Reddit introduces TikTok and Instagram like Discover tab. In a bid to make Reddit more like the other Reddit adjacent apps out there, the platform has added a Discover tab. Ripped the Reddit we all love. Essentially, the
That's what
Discover
they
tab is a
say
new
every time there's change. Sorry.
Essentially, the Discover tab is a new navigational tool that serves you up the content on Reddit that you might want to engage with. Isn't this kind of just the popular tab, I hear you ask? Kind of, except the Discover tab is based on your individual activity, not just trending posts / posts that are getting a ton of engagement. For example, if you follow 4 subs that are about a particular type of music, Reddit starts to show you posts in communities that are similar. This makes me want to use Reddit again. I haven't been willing to use Reddit for years because all of the content I consume being a matter of a popularity contest from everyone involved in a given community is just the worst possible experience of information.
And yet, I love I love the internet. Like, why is the internet like this? Like, every time something is going to change, it's the end of the website. Like, it's done. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Because for anyone who doesn't recall, when Reddit was first released, you could only post a link or an image. There were no comments.
That sounds
That was
better.
it. That's all you could do. Um, and then they were like, well, we're going to add comments, but you can't have a conversation. It's just nothing but very similarly to how the comment section was on TikTok originally, that everybody can just comment in a post. Like, there's no
Threading.
response. No threading. And then people were like, that was ridiculous. It's like, oh, okay, but you can only go so many deep. But that issue specifically, I do also recall was, well, both making tons of comments as well as threading comments. That kind of system did not work prior to Reddit's existence, like not on that level. So they were having to stop and like reinvent new code in order to allow for their technology to continuously expand. Because that's why the website kept breaking so much. Ignore my cat being an ass. So when they were going to put comments on, they're like, okay, this is it. Reddit's like dead, like that it's lost its thing. But then people went to Dig because Dig was more like that. And then Dig, flamed out really fast as far as I recall. So then they're doing all the comment things. And then they were like, you know what? Here's the last thing. Like, no avatars. Like, that's going to make sure that Reddit keeps relevant. And here we are talking about how Reddit is starting to become like TikTok in its algorithmic. It blows my mind so much about Reddit too, because like I love Reddit for what it has been the entire time that it has been here. But I've also acknowledged for a long time that I don't want to say that Reddit is old, but especially for like younger people or people who've never really been on the internet before, if you were not here when you had to work for it, if you wanted to be on the internet, you had to act like the internet was your job. How do I get to the website? How do I this? Because like Google didn't really exist back then, especially not as it exists today. You knew that web address or you were not getting to Reddit and all of these other websites. At this point, Reddit will not be viable for the future, just like with all of these other social media apps, if it does not become more user friendly for people who do not want to take the time to learn all of that stuff.
I just want to say for the record, Google came out when I was in middle school,
Yeah.
and they like set it as the homepage on all the school computers, and I just assumed that it was a really bad search engine because it was the one they put on the school computers.
Stop. I love that so much. I love that so much because, like, the reason why I love that so much is because the reason why Ask Jeeves was so freaking popular, at least in my area here in the Midwest, where, nobody does technology except for the children. Um, because that's West Coast and East Coast stuff. They liked Ask Jeeves so much because they set the website up so that it felt like you were asking a person,
Mm-hmm.
hey, person, what about insert topic here? That
Mm-hmm.
was hot garbage too back then. Like, search engines today have us so spoiled. So spoiled. I didn't hear about Google until I moved to the West Coast. I don't know how I missed that and going to college and everything too, because I'd been using Ask Jeeves. I'd heard about Yahoo search engine also, but you couldn't log on to the website without it playing that stupid sound. Yahoo!
Remember when websites just made noise at you like newspapers do?
Oh God, yes.
Literally the only kind of website that still does that.
Oh God.
Um,
Yeah. No.
but on the topic of the Reddit Discover tab, you know how we talk a lot about how TikTok needs to be accountable for the nature of their algorithm because algorithms will inherit
Yeah.
the biases of the populations using those algorithms?
Yeah.
So Reddit does have an algorithm, like for the whole website, and it is just amplification of the biases of the users of the site.
Yes.
I can't imagine that this is not an improvement.
I might have to actually deep dive into the Discover tab a little bit more because I know that the page that it takes me to, it will aggregate the subs that I am subscribed to over everything else, and then you can go to all to see like all of everything. And I definitely do know also about how, like, if a particular post is like taking off, whether through likes or comments and or other forms of engagement, like being shared and whatnot, that also will bubble that one up to the top, even if it's not necessarily the most popular item at the time. But it's just kind of like I also have found this interesting too. If you are a moderator for a subreddit, content from that subreddit, regardless of whether or not how good it is doing, regardless of whether or not it has a report or not, is more likely to show up on your page also when you first get signed in. And I'm just kind of like, So I get a lot of explain like I'm five content.
Mm-hmm.
These girls, I'm so sorry. They are they are on my final nerve. They decided to tear a hole in the box spring of my mattress so that they can sleep inside the mattress. So I have yet another problem that I need to solve with these two, and I am not happy. But yes, no, I could talk about these things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's more about mental health in children on TikTok, which again, it's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, several more articles about that.
mm-hmm.
It looks like 4 days ago that was the
Yeah.
news story. Um,
I
yeah,
saw
four
that
days
one
ago it
too
was
about
only stories about that.
that. Mm-hmm. I also, again, still think it's interesting that the belly fat burning one is trending, even though there's a lot of nutritionists that are like, please stop taking nutrition advice and workout advice from people on TikTok. So I do, again, also understand that those like probably do sell better, but
Mm.
It's interesting that those are the ones that keep making it into the news too.
Yeah. There's stuff about the 10-minute videos.
Yeah, the 10-minute videos that are breaking everything.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh,
tired.
so you want to see your full comment section? Sorry, we've got 10-minute videos. Enjoy nothing loading for like a week straight. I'm so sorry. What was the other? Oh, people's profile pictures disappearing away too. That
Yeah, Michael, the talks were really good. 3 out of 4 of them will be up on YouTube. Unfortunately, the disability talk recording was lost, but we will have the transcript available because it was live captioned, so we were able to get that from the captioner.
that's a bummer, but
Yeah, no, I'm heartbroken. It was such a good panel. And yeah, as those videos become available, I will be updating the Toga website talks page with those talks on them. Yeah. It doesn't look like any of this is really about TikTok apart from the
yeah,
10 minutes thing. And I don't want to read about the 10 minutes thing.
yeah. Well, Michael was talking about
That's a
how they
good
only take
headline.
them.
TikTok videos can now be 9 minutes longer than nature intended.
If that does not completely, fully, truly embody my opinion of 10-minute videos, because like 3 minutes is enough, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, no, I'm with you, Michael, that like there's only a few types of videos that I would not be upset at a 10-minute video for on TikTok specifically, one of which would be music, some project related things like I'm into crafting, I do like knitting and crochet and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind probably a 10-minute video here too, but from some discussions from the Discord, I'm 1,000% on board with the idea of they really should break the FYP into 2 categories: fast and slow, or long and short, however you want to label it, because there should be an area for 1 minute and less videos, and then there should be a separate area for over a minute videos.
Michael, they
Because
do have a way for videos to be horizontal on TikTok. You just make a horizontal video and then you rotate it 90 degrees before you upload it. Lots of people do that.
when I first joined TikTok too, it was a trend to use that one song that I have in my head. Clearly, you can hear it, and then turn your camera as the song hit this particular part horizontal, and then the person who was filming was turning it at the same time too, so it feels like you're actually kind of recording whatever it is that they're doing. That was the same time when people would use like lots of like puddles and little splashes of water to like get a mirrored effect, and then blow your mind by pulling it away, and it's like, oh no, it's just the reflection in my cup of coffee. I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head for the rest of the night now too.
I have no idea what song you're talking about.
I wish I could remember what the lyrics were, but it's one of those songs where I don't understand what they're saying. But I think it's called something like "Give Me a Reason to Believe." And I'm not much of a singer, but anyway, if I find it, I will put it in somewhere.
All right. We're about 10 minutes from the normal end time, but I am tired and we're running out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'm good with that too.
We're going to call it here. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.